4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This your boy T-Lo.
Yo, what's Gucci? This your man Tweet.
What up, y'all? DJ Kid Fresh.
What's up? This your boy RL.
And we're next.
And you're rocking with the Rebirth every Monday at 7 p.m.
But you know the hits. Rebirth Radio, baby, every Monday, 7 p.m. Shea and Eli. All right, rocking that old school. Peace.
Good evening. Welcome to the Rebirth on Philly Jams 95.3 FM. Happy Monday. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Shea Marriott.
And as always, I was waiting for you to say something else like you normally do. As always, this your boy Eli Isabel, a.k.a. The South Got Something to Say. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday, Shea,
Happy
Rebirth
Monday.
family, Philly Jams 95.3. What's good, sis?
What's good? Listen, you know what's good. What happened this weekend?
We still riding high?
We still riding high.
This weekend.
Yes.
Rebirth Live.
Yeah. If you missed it, if y'all missed it, y'all missed a good time. Really.
Yes, you did.
You really did. You missed a really good show. I think this was our best show yet. And I'm gonna tell you why, because it was more of a production.
It was.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was where entertainment and conversation comes together, and we had a phenomenal panel.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had great panelists in the past, but it was just the vibe. We still had that intimacy in the setting at Theater Inn. We had a bigger venue. We had vendors. We had food. We had networking. And we had you. Y'all showed up in numbers. Thank you so much for supporting. You guys really came out and you support, and we really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think the conversation was just like awesome. Like the questions were on point.
Absolutely.
The responses, like I really had people like telling me how much they enjoyed it this weekend. And I was asking people for like real like critique. Like it's okay, I can take constructive criticism. I got some, but I also got about 95% great feedback.
Yeah.
And you know, my toughest critic gave us props.
Oh yeah, I know. Corey told me.
My child's mother. She is a hard little tough cookie. Like them cookies probably downstairs in the foyer. Probably old and stale and tough. She like that. And, you know, she gave us props.
I don't know if that was the best analogy.
I'm just trying to let you understand how tough she is. Like, old steak tough.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it was a great time. And I want all feedback because that helps us make it better, right? So the one thing I've been hearing, when is the next one?
Ooh, child, it's Monday. It's Monday.
There will be another one for sure. But we are going to, just take a breather, and we'll start working on that probably in December as to when the next one will come. It will be in 2024, but we have not set a date, but it will be coming. So to set you guys off right, those that missed the show, listen, let me show you how the show opened, first of all. Mr. The South got something to say. He did his thing. Check it out.
Like Kurt Franklin.
Don't be giving me no crap.
And then we had Corey Wilkinson sharing.
She was supposed to be here tonight, but she hurt herself, so she couldn't make it. But God bless, my sister that I met last year is also here in the audience tonight, right? And so, when you talk about that brokenness, if you don't know necessarily where you come from, you will trip over yourself a lot, right? As a man, right? So I think those things, we take those things for granted. And watching Iana sometimes, when she talks about it, a woman can speak to, or a mother can speak to her son in a certain way that will strip his heart from him. So you got to definitely be sure and watch how you cover your child. Watch how you cover the man that you talk to, right? Because you have the ability to strip a man and speak to a man in a way that will cripple him, right? So I think at the end of the day, we have
there, that we good. And then the next part is a freak in the bed. Okay. She gonna go there.
It's definitely a given for me that he definitely has to have a relationship with God. But also he needs. I want to be wanted. I want to be wanted. Like wanted, desired, yes.
All right. It was a great time. It was a great night. A lot of synergy that was in the building. What was your favorite part?
I'm going to say, so you know how I feel like the world is geared toward the feelings of women. Mm-hmm. Like how we have to be cognizant of women, our black women, how we have to make sure we protect. And that's all valid. I'm not saying that that's not the case. But I appreciate the fact that the men get up there, and we have the opportunity to speak about how we feel. And we can be honest about the things that hurt us, about the things that bother us. I think that's the valuable part, and everything is valuable, but I feel like that is important because men don't really have that platform to talk about their feelings and not be judged like, oh, you a soft,
right?
It's hard. You can't do that on the block. You gotta but the fact that we are coming to a point where we can express ourselves, it's healthy for us. And it's healthy for us when it comes to interacting with each other, because that's why we got so much crap out here with each other. We trying to hurt one another all the time.
Right,
we walk around all this pent up anger and energy, man. So I appreciate that fact about it.
Yeah. So all the panels were great. Everybody did a great job on every panel. Just to recap, we had an all ladies panel. We had a relationship panel, which included couples, singles, and people that were divorced or separated on the panel. And then we had the men's panel. I think everybody did a really good job, especially with the amount of time that we had. Mm-hmm. But it's something about the men's panel for me that is just really, really powerful. And I think it's just being able to sit there and really hear these brothers talk and be vulnerable and share. And, I think that is so important. And the fact that we create a safe space for them to do that, which is really, really important and really big. So again, shout out to everybody that was a part of Rebirth Live, those that supported. We had people that purchased tickets just to support.
Shout out to Corey Van.
Corey Van, yes. Thank you,
man.
Corey Van.
His brother live in Texas.
Yeah,
we know he wasn't coming.
No, he wasn't.
And he bought a ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's love right there.
Exactly. So we really, really appreciate you. So if you want to stay connected to what we have coming up next, text the word Rebirth to 1-844-516-7189. That's 1-844-516-7189. Stay connected. You'll be able to find out what we have going on, and you will also be able to get, certain little discounts because you are connected. So make sure you just stay connected. I think we're going to do a Rebirth meetup in February down at the riverfront, a little happy hour thing. Nothing big, just something that where we're able to touch our audience and talk. What's up, Sherry Mona? Thank you for coming in. She was one of the vendors that was there on Friday night. Yeah. So you got any right here, right now?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's go. So, and just for our awesome guest tonight, she hasn't been introduced yet, but you're going to get all your time. You're gonna get to reclaim all that, sis. So don't you worry, okay? All right. I'm gonna risk going over it until my football game start. So I'm just saying that's how important this is for you to get your time. Really quick. So, Jada Pinkett Smith. Where do I begin?
Boy.
All right, ma'am. I've loved you since a different world, but you've gotten on my last nerve. All right, now I know she has a memoir coming out this month, sometime this month. So she's doing a little press run and this and that. And this is what I want her to do. Now I do blame Will for what happened at the Oscars last year because the power of decision is your own. You regardless of what you decide whether or not you're gonna go and do what he did. But I need her to give that man an emotional break. Ease off. Ever since you told us about the August Alsina thing, it's been one thing after another.
Yeah.
And I feel like emotionally that brother is beat down probably. And now you're on here.
I'm sorry. Corey
What?
said, I wish he got caught and set it off.
Right. Ball hit, never mind. So I just need her, give him a break, man. Now she's talking about Tupac asked her to marry him when he was in prison. What is that? Was Tupac's been there for 30 years, man. What are you talking about? Why are we talking about that? Let Pac be old. Let Pac be Pac. It's always something that you're pouring into the wound of his despair.
Yeah.
Let him be great, please, Jada. Good Lord, we love Will. You got him out here slapping folk. You got him out here telling everybody right in his face. I guess I can respect that part. That she was messing around on him, but in front of the world.
Yeah. That's a lot. Something that shout out to Eric Robinson. I was talking to him earlier, and one of the questions that he said he would like to hear on the panel was, he said women always say that they find out that their men are cheating through either they have this spiritual intuition or the Holy Spirit or whatever. And he said, I don't understand why don't they find out that when their man is beat down through the spirit and through the he said, why is it that it's always cheating? Why aren't they having that intuitive that their man is beat down, that they're tired,
Why don't y'all have
I said,
that?
that's a good, wait a minute now.
Okay, go ahead.
I said, that was a question for
room
the
full of
Rebirth
women. It's a room full of women. Anybody feel
for
free
the
to jump in there.
Rebirth panel. But,
okay.
I just think that that's an awareness, that you need to have, period. And I also think that comes with how you feel about your man.
But also, and correct me and just tell me if you feel differently. I also think it goes to how we're just not cognizant of men's feelings and emotions and what they're going through. Because in relationships, I just feel like in relationships, it's always geared toward the well-being of the woman. I'm sorry. It's just in everyone I've been in, and my friends, it's always about the girlfriend or the wife and how she's feeling. Oh, let me make sure she's good. Again, I always say there's no rhyme for the man. There's always happy wife, happy life. What about me? Hello, I'm hearing this thing too. So I just think that we get overlooked emotionally. And I think this has probably happened to him.
Yeah, and
You're
this is why
supposed to be able to suck this up.
this is why we do Rebirth Live. This is why. Have you noticed that? Because I try to put, I make sure there's a platform for men to speak.
Right, absolutely.
So that's important. But yeah, we, keep them in our prayers. But I don't know what Jada's doing. I think Jada's going through something her own self. That's, I don't know.
I'm definitely not praying for Jada.
Oh
Say
my
prayer.
God, Lord have mercy.
I might say something for Will. I ain't saying nothing for her. She seems to be okay. All right, let's get into our Black History fact real quick, and then we're going to introduce our awesome guest. Theodore Sedgwick Wright, a prominent clergyman, anti-slavery leader, and reformer, was thought to have been born in New Jersey, your place, in 1797.
Don't ask me if I know.
He attended well, I didn't give the town. I know you don't know all the towns in New Jersey, even though you say you're from Jersey. He attended the New York. Can I get through my thing? Can I get through my thing right now? You make it seem I'm about to lose my phone. He attended the New York African Free School with the help of Governor DeWitt Clinton and Arthur Tappan and others. He enrolled in the Princeton Theological Seminary in 1828, and he became the first Black graduate and simultaneously the first African-American graduate from any American college or university. After graduation, Wright became pastor of the first colored Presbyterian church in New York City, where he worked for the rest of his life. So shout out to Theodore Sedgwick Wright,
All
the
right.
first African American to graduate from an Ivy League college.
Okay.
Show him some love.
You be getting some good ones.
I mean, I do what I can.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna call my church the first color Presbyterian though. Why we just can't be Presbyterian? Why we gotta say color? We ain't number us up in there.
Oh, Lord. Again, welcome to the Rebirth on Philly Jams 95.3 FM. We have a great show for you tonight, guys. Listen, if you need some information, some advice about money, what you're doing with your money, tune in. Matter of fact, call a friend. Tell them to tune in because this information is priceless. Okay? So I'm going to give y'all a couple seconds to call a friend, share this live with somebody because we're about to get down into some finances. We have Miss Ashle Latney from Rheal Urban is in the building. She is the co-founder and money mindset coach. Give it up for Ashle Latney.
Thank you.
Hey, how are
Welcome
you?
to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Feel like you've been here for a long time.
I know. It's been an awesome experience. I love it. I love seeing how you guys all operate and work. So
Well,
thank you for having me.
You are welcome, Ashley. Let's get into it. Can you give us your background and what is Rheal Urban and all of that?
So Rheal Urban is really about giving and teaching financial education within the inner city and urban communities. We know that a lot of times in urban communities, we don't discuss finances,
right?
Because we have this taboo and this apprehension of discussing this. I feel like it kind of came back from where you were just speaking about the first colored gentleman who graduated from an Ivy League school. I think it goes back. It's a mentality and a shift. The reason why I got into this, into finances and teaching finances within my community, is because I come from a single family household. I was a single mother for 10 years before I met my partner, and I worked in a bank for 13 years.
Okay.
I worked in two different financial institutions, and I saw how things went in our community and how our people were treated when it came to how we handled our money on the front end, face to face, and also on the back end, because I worked in like special cases, litigation, seizure and search warrants. So in one of the biggest banks in the world.
Wow.
So seeing this and seeing how a lot of times it was people of color who were affected by some of the predatory lending, I wanted to teach them ways to avoid the fees and all of the other stuff that happens. I was recently just teaching a class to children at a high school, and we went over how much banks really make in just fees, and it's over $385 billion a year.
Wow.
Yeah, $385 billion a year
That's
in just
insane.
fees.
Yeah, it is.
So we have to do something different. We have to change something, and it starts with us. It starts within our house, and it starts within our community.
And a lot of those fees we don't even know about, huh? We're just getting taxed every month and don't even realize it.
And that is because a lot of times we don't even look at our accounts. We don't look at our statements because now we have apps. And so it's easy for us to just scroll.
Yeah.
But we're not really looking at our statements and seeing what's coming out. So a lot of times we're being charged for fees, subscription fees that we don't even know is coming out, which if we did, we would save a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Go ahead.
How do we, so speaking of that, how do we prevent those fees and things we're being hit for every month that we don't necessarily realize? Like,
we have to do our research. We have to do our research in the financial institute that we're banking with. It's not just the big ones that we think. We have to look into like our smaller credit unions, the local banks, so that we can see what is working, what we need, if we meet certain criteria for a certain account, if we don't meet certain criteria for certain accounts. But we just have to start being more aware of what's happening with our money and looking. A lot of times we're afraid to look, because if we look, then we see what those unhealthy practices are. So me and my partner, we looked at our statement last 3 months, and when we looked at it, we saw that we spent over $1,000 in eating out every single month. You can say that, in 12 months and you have a nice down payment on a
Absolutely.
house. But we don't
Yeah.
look at it because once you look at it, now you're aware.
Yeah.
And you can lie to everyone else, but the one person you can't lie to is yourself.
Yeah.
So if you know, then you have to do better. And sometimes we don't want to do better.
Right.
We have that
Absolutely.
fear.
1,000?
Yeah. Look, you like, that's nothing.
No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't. I was just gonna say I know a girl who get that much in food stamps. We can cut that in half.
I mean,
You can get 1,000 for 500.
I mean, if
holla
we
at me
can
after the
do
show.
it, right? I will stay
can't
longer.
with you.
This is financial
cannot
literacy
with
too.
you.
This is how we do it in the neighborhood, right?
It definitely is.
It's barter. Okay, go
Do
ahead.
you think part of
We teach that too.
Do you think part of this as well? Because I'm thinking about a client that I had, and she made very, very good money, and she was single mom, made amazing money, but she also had the pressures of taking care of her family. She's from Nigeria, so she had the pressures of also taking care of her family, and she had that guilt. But her life was set up in a way where it was moving so fast that she did not have time to really check her statements, like you're saying, to see what was coming out. So I remember this was a while ago, we took a whole session to go over her finances. Now, I'm not a financial person, but it was the support. She needed that support. Like you said, she didn't want to look at it, so she needed that support. And when I tell you that some of the stuff that was uncovered, it was just, she was like, oh, I didn't realize I was still paying for that phone bill. Oh, I didn't realize that I was paying. DoorDash alone. DoorDash alone. And her child was young, was $1,500 a month.
You can feed a whole
And
village back
DoorDash.
home.
And
Yeah. Well,
I'm just saying that amount of money.
he's telling the truth.
Because on a commercial, it's really $1 a day to feed
Right?
a village.
Shut up.
But
Well, there's a sign up on the highway that say for $2.63 you can have a whole Thanksgiving
tell them where to
meal.
lie. Ain't no lie what I'm saying. I know
you
what
gonna
I'm
act
talking
up with him, huh?
Right? I want to know
It's
where
just
they
keeping
get
it
their
funky
food
though.
from.
I see that too. I was like, that's some
Right?
bullshit right there. But
Oh
okay.
my gosh. But I think that we are just, because I feel like we're in such a fast pace now that we're not taking that time to do those extra steps, right? You have people that have multiple subscriptions and don't even realize, that it's coming out your check monthly, right? So how do we kind of like get out of that rut of doing these things?
So the first thing we have to do is we have to be okay with looking. So we have to first identify that we do have either a spending problem. A lot of people, they overspend because spending gives you a natural high. And so when you go and you swipe that card and you get that stuff, you actually get endorphins that give you a natural high, and it helps you with feeling better. It gives you that happy pleasure.
Yeah.
And so we have to understand that we have to first start looking inside. That's our first step. So just looking at where are we spending. I always tell my clients, let's pull 3 months of your last statements. When I say that, they're like, oh my goodness, like 3 months, you want me? Yeah, let's look at the last 3 months. Take 2 highlighters. Take 2 different color highlighters, I'm sorry, and highlight your wants and then highlight your needs. And this will tell you how much you're spending on the unnecessary things.
Good idea.
And a lot of people, they won't do that. So a lot of people don't go any further than just step 1 because they don't want to look at those last 3 months.
Yeah.
I was recently doing a class for a senior community, and I had a lady who actually came up and she said when she looked at her statements, she was actually able to identify how 35 years ago she was on drugs and addicted to alcohol. And she noticed that the 35 years sober, she now replaced those addictions with shopping.
Yeah.
So sometimes we shop or we overspend or we underspend because either we have a scarcity mindset or because it gives us that pleasure when we're having a bad day. When you go out with your friends, it's like, girl, let's go do a spa day. Let's go out here and go on a shopping spree. But if you really take that money and you really think, like, what are you avoiding?
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you're avoiding by going on this shopping spree? What is it that you're avoiding by going out in for the girls' trip? And, like, what is it at home or inside that you're not addressing first? And that is our first step, is addressing what is going on our inside. I believe in healing the whole, not just your finances, but healing you as a whole so that we can end this financial generational trauma and so that we can build financial empowerment.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good. I don't think anyone would ever associate trauma with bad spending habits. You know what I mean? Like traditionally, no one thinks about that.
Yeah.
A lot of us spend because of how we saw the adults in our lives growing up spending. When you think about it, if you go back and you think about how you saw money handled as a child, you have some of those traits now. You have some of those financial traits right now as we speak as an adult, because you haven't healed those traumas, as we said, from childhood.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I know we're in the middle of a show, but I literally, this is where my mind is. I'm on Rebirth Live. I'm already thinking, I'm like, she would be good with trauma and money. Having her come on.
Well, you know I'll be around.
Yes, absolutely.
See, y'all talk about me. She a little fun too.
Finance and trauma, because I see that it's related.
Yeah.
I see it, you know, but like you said, I don't think the average person would relate the two. So, you know, we would definitely be, Anyway, y'all. So the one thing that I really love that your company does is you guys are teaching the kids at a very young age. So let's talk about that, because that's important.
Yes. So we start at 7. So we do for children, nothing.
People in the background.
Right? So we do from ages 7 to 17 for children. And that is because, so we have a book. It's called It's Time, Teaching Our Children the Financial Game. And we actually start off at age 2. So when your child can start to talk, this is when you should start to teach financial lessons. It doesn't have to be like, this is interest and this is a high yield savings, or you can start by putting the laundry taking the laundry out of the dryer, and you get a quarter. Or let's separate the pennies, or let's separate the colors of money. Let's separate the brown coins from the silver coins, or the size. Or so you start incorporating financial conversations at a young age, because we don't want our children to grow up and not have any type of conversations geared towards money. Right. As an adult, I know that I didn't have conversations with money in my childhood. And I learned all of my financial lessons through real life experiences. Right. As a parent, you do not want your child to learn that way. So we start early, because our children know more than what we give them credit for. They know a lot. When I go into these classes and I teach these children, they know a lot about money. They know a lot about your money. They do. They pay attention to everything. They hear everything. They pick up on everything. And it's like, so, Mom, Dad, you said that you didn't have the money, but you have a new pair of shoes. Why? So they start to question you, and they're asking these questions because they're trying to understand. Our children are always asking why. So we don't like to explain that, because then it makes us address our spending habits. Why do we have 200 pair of shoes? You only have 2 feet.
Right.
So I feel like you took that, like, you said closet full, huh?
I got a couple pair.
But we want to start having these conversations with our children at a young age, so that they don't grow up not knowing how to have financial talks, and so they feel comfortable with financial discussions.
Do you think so? Like I said, I grew up without a lot of money in my household. My mom was a single mom also. I think in our case, we didn't have those talks because there was really no money to talk about. So I think that also, and then me witnessing being very little money, at least until like maybe about the 7th, 8th grade. There was very little money. There was nothing for somebody to pass on to me. And I remember always hearing, when there was a conversation about something, this was a thing I always heard, and I've said this before. Well, when you get older, you make sure you keep your credit straight. What the hell does that mean? I'm 14. What does that mean? No one broke it down and says, all right, when you get a car, pay your car note on time. You have electric bill, pay your bills on time. No one, and it's really as simple as that, to a degree. But I just think we missed the mark sometimes. I mean, I know our parents only know what they know to give to us, but still, we really missed the mark in so many ways. So I think it's dope that you are starting so early. We need that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of times in other communities, they actually have financial conversations as a whole family. So even if it is just balancing the books, the children are sitting in the room. They may be playing with cars or their doll babies, but these financial conversations are had as a whole entire family. Even if you don't have money, you can still have financial conversations. You can say, hey, I pay Delmarva every single month. This is how we pay Delmarva. Let me show you. This is how much the electric bill costs. This is how much the car does cost. When you get, sometimes like we get yellow slips and pink slips in the mail, explain that to them. Because we had an emergency come up, I wasn't able to pay the full electric or the full cable. So this is what happens when you don't do that. Even when you don't have money, you can still teach your children valuable financial lessons so that they can avoid some of those hardships, those financial hardships that you've had and that you've experienced. Absolutely. That's what this is all about. This is all about making sure that your children never have to experience some of those things that you went through, so that you teach them. Even if it's embarrassing for you, these are your children.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They learn from you. That is a good thing. Money or no money, we should be talking.
I never forget when when my sons found out that I paid the trash man to come get the trash. They like the lost it. It was like, what? You gotta pay people to come get the trash? I'm like, yeah. You know, it's a bill. And they could not wrap their minds around it. They was like, it's trash. Like, what do you? I said, yes, but it is a business for them. It's trash to us, but it's a business to them. So that was funny. So you brought something up. I think too in our community that we also have the mindset of I'm gonna pay on this.
Put some on it.
Put a little something over here.
I grew up listening, hearing that.
Right. And it's not necessarily, I mean, some cases because you don't have it, but a lot of cases is you do have it, but you just don't want to pay that whole bill. You're going to pay on, and then you're going to go and you're going to use it on something else.
People fear auto pay.
Right.
People, you can have all of the money in the account, and you are like, I am going to pay this on my own. You will not automatically deduct this money out of my account, even though you have to pay it. People feel auto.
Do you think people should be on auto pay for bills?
So if I'm being honest, I'm not on auto pay.
Thank you for your transparency.
Are you scared?
But let me tell you now, I don't like people to have control over my money.
And that's how I feel.
So that is.
I'm being honest. I'll pay. Let me send it to you. You don't just come here and get
I don't want you to pull it from my account. It's just something about having the control. But I also have a designated day when I go in and make sure that I pay all of my bills.
Right.
And it's not like I'm trying to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
Been there, done that, got the picture, all of that. I don't want to go back there. So I make sure I pay my bills on time. But like you said, a lot of people, they put something on it.
Right.
And the reason why they're just putting something on it is because they have these fun things that they want to do. And they can't do the fun things and pay the bill in full. So you shortchange the bill to go have fun, but not understanding and knowing that now you're not really doing what you need to do, and now you're falling further and further and behind, and then those are those fees that come up. So now you're getting fees and you're paying extra
interest and all
your
kinds of stuff,
interest because you decided to use your bill money for fun money. But if you learn how to manage your money, you can have fun and pay your bills.
Absolutely.
You know what? Because I did grow up with the hearing to put some on it, you know, enough to keep the lights on or whatever you have to do. And I had that mindset. Even when I got to a point where I didn't have to just put something on it, I would still be. And my wife like, no, just pay the damn bill. Like, you're fine. We can pay the entire bill. And I used to, and I fought against that for a long time. And then she just started paying the bills because I was like, no, we're gonna just give them half. Yeah. But we don't have to give them half. But I was so into that mindset from my family and growing up and then being a single dude and then college. Once I found out you just give them a little something and to stay on, I was like, oh, hell yeah. That yellow envelope didn't scare me no more. From what was the electric company
He
called?
was like, "Oh, we still got a couple more
Hey,
days."
we got a couple more days.
Come.
Yeah, the yellow come. You used to get a little
Now
shit when you don't know.
When the pink come, that's it.
It's
It's about to get dark. It's about
Go
to
get
get
the
dark.
candles and light.
Connective.
Where the
The
flashlights.
connective days. That's when I feel like the yellow envelopes will be coming and the pink.
Oh my gosh.
But that's real life because we all understand.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
understand the envelope system when it
Yeah,
comes
absolutely.
to paying our
It's
bills.
hilarious too.
But this is
Absolutely.
something that we deal with on an everyday basis, and people deal with this on an everyday basis on
Yeah.
how they mismanage their money. Yeah.
So one of the tips that you have for our viewers, you said identify your limiting beliefs. Learn to recognize and challenge limiting beliefs such as I'm broke
Yeah.
or I don't deserve wealth.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
So, our limiting beliefs, when you say I'm broke, you are really putting that out in the universe.
Right.
You're telling the universe, well, that person doesn't need money. You should always speak it into existence what you want. Every time when we eat dinner, I say a prayer. I always say, well, thank you for giving me a $20,000 month income.
Hey man, let me
Right?
put that
Amen.
in.
You gotta be,
Start
you
saying that
got,
too.
you gotta be
Say that.
specific. You have to be
I'm
specific.
going 25, Lord.
There you go.
I'll go up 5
You gotta
grand.
start saying it, but you have to do. You can't just
Right.
say it and then think that it's going to happen. No, you have
Yeah.
to go out and you have to do the work. But a
Yes.
lot of times with our limiting beliefs, we think that it's just supposed to come to us easily.
Yeah.
And we think that, you know, if we just say it or we do a little bit, that we're going to get it. But no, it's hard work. It's hard work to heal. It's hard work to overcome. We didn't get here overnight. So you should never expect to get to your next destination just overnight.
Yeah.
One thing that I practice, one thing that I preach and I teach is manifestation. You have
Yes.
to manifest.
Yes.
And if you are saying negative words, and if you saying you have negative thoughts, then that's what's going to manifest. When you think about it, like your illness, if you have a sickness. So some people know, some people don't know. In 2018, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Now, when I first was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, all I looked at was negative Facebook stuff.
Yeah.
And I noticed that I was in a deep depression because that's all I saw. But when I decided to start looking at more positive things, my life got better. My healing got better.
Wow.
I stopped getting more lesions. I haven't been in the hospital. So it's all about what you put out there.
Yeah.
If you believe that you're broke,
Then you're gonna be
you're
broke.
going to be broke.
Yeah.
If you believe that you can't have wealth and you're not going to manifest wealth, then that's what's going to happen. So you have to identify what are the things that you're saying to yourself. We're in our minds 24/7, 365 days. There's nobody else in there with us, just us. If you talk negative to yourself, that's what you get out. If you talk positive to yourself, that's what you'll get out. From childhood, a lot of us think of and think about the negative things. We think of the things that hurt or hindered us
Right.
or impacted us in a negative way. But when you really think about it, we had a lot more positive encounters than we did negative. But our brain is automatically wired to think about the negative. So we have to do that
Absolutely.
shift.
And that's crazy. It is.
And that's
true.
therapy right
Yeah.
there,
Yes,
right?
that's
true.
That's what we, that's therapy. It is official, y'all. She will be on the next Rebirth Live, and it will be called Healing Financial
We
Trauma.
just put your chair on the stage.
Right?
You don't even know it.
Well, thank you. I'll be there. Just send me the time and the date.
We have a question
we
for
have
you.
some questions.
Okay.
All right, so Sherry Monet Starling Morris. Is it a good idea if you can afford to pay all your monthly household bills, such as gas, phone, etc., at the beginning of the year based on the previous year's expenses?
Oh, okay.
She got money.
Right?
You gonna pay it ahead of time for the bill come?
I love it.
All right.
So how you pay your bills is really on you. I just say make sure you pay them on time. But if you feel like if you pay a year in advance and you'll be able to save that money, I would say do it. Like it's nothing like having that freedom and that knowledge to know, like at least for the next 12 months, I don't have to pay something, and I can keep all the money that I earn. So yeah, if you want to do it, I pay them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
Sherry, where you work at?
Right? Because I might
I-
need to come on over and fill
I
out
want to
an
pay all my
application.
bills January 1st too for the year.
Now, I will suggest that if you have credit cards, making sure that you pay more than the minimum payment on the credit card, and that goes for anybody.
Yeah.
Making sure that you do the minimum, because if you just do the minimum, you're just paying interest, and that's all you're paying. And you'll be paying a $100 credit card if you just pay $25 for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, pay them. Pay the bills.
So, we have a lot of, right now the big conversation is the student loans, right? Student loans and all of that. But right now, kids that are in college that had to take out loans, right? And I know some of that financial money is now like whatever they didn't use, that money is coming back. What would
Take your time. Take your time.
What advice?
Sometimes she gotta be burped, then she talks about it. You ready? All right, go ahead.
Like a rewind.
I'm tongue-tied from talking all weekend. What would your advice be to, for the extra money that comes? Should they invest it back into their 504 plan? Should they send it back to the place that sent it to them? Like, what would be a good suggestion for that? Because sometimes people take that money
and they just spend it.
Yeah.
So I never want to give somebody advice and it doesn't work for them in their lifestyle and what it is that they're trying to achieve. So you want to look at, if you're going to keep this money, are you just going to spend it? Like, if you're going to spend it, then you do need to find a resource to put these funds in so that you're not just spending it because you're going to have to pay it regardless. So I will always say, never just, if you know that if you have an extra $10,000 in your account and you're about to go blow it, then you need to find a better way to keep that money so that you don't get more interest, you don't get more fees. So that's really my biggest suggestion. Like I said, because I can't tell someone how to allocate their funds, I would say if you have $100,000 in debt and college debt and you have a 10th and they give you $10,000 back, you should pay it. Like, you should put a little something on it. Like, you should put something on that. Because you don't want to keep getting, you don't want to pay this for the next 40 years.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what'll happen. Like, the student loans, they're not going nowhere. They can tell you can defer it and you cannot pay it all you want. But it'll be there. It'll still be there, and you'll be in your 50s and 60s still paying for your diploma or your degree. Sorry. And you don't want to do that. So if you get the extra money and you get the money back, I would say definitely make payments and make a significant payment. And don't just.
I needed you when I was 19.
So then this is why I'm asking. This is why I'm asking this question, because I feel like people don't know what to do with that. They'll take the money, and they're like, okay, so what do I do with this money? So okay, you can take the money and you can put it back into the loan.
So you can put it back into the loan. You can put it into like your checking account and then just make monthly payments. The reason why I'm saying make sure that you don't spend more is because you'll start dipping and you'll start dabbing into that money that you get, and now you're out of the funds that they've given you back. Right. But you still have this bill.
Exactly.
So I never want people to have bills. I don't want us to have bills. I want us to be able to pay this off. I don't want you to be paying, for a degree for 70, 60, 50, 40, 30 years. So if you get money, pay it, especially if you owe it. And that's the thing that a lot of people, you still owe it. So if you owe it, then pay it. I know it's a pretty prize, but
you know what I think? I think that when we're young and we're in school, we think we're gonna get this great job off the top, and we're gonna be able to afford to pay that back. That was, I think that was my mindset. Like, I knew, because at 19, you give me $3,000 back at the end of the semester, I'm spending, I'm blowing it. I'm at the mall. It's Jordans for everybody.
Yeah. Not everybody.
Well, not everybody, but for me, maybe the homie that wasn't in college, I'm hook him up because he need to feel good about himself too. Okay. But yeah, like, I just think that maybe it should be like, there shouldn't be no refund check.
It should just go straight to it.
Just go straight back to the loan, because we're really doing ourselves a disservice when you think about it.
Because we're definitely tempted. You will definitely be tempted to spend. I need a new car. I need some new clothes. I want to go on vacation. I've been going to Miami. I'm ready. So if you're not going to use it
5,
to
4,
benefit and
3,
to
2, 1.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This your boy.
what you need to do, then
Yeah.
yeah.
But so, and I'll move off the student loan thing again, but because I know personally a couple people that this is happening right now, and they're trying to figure out what should we do with this money. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I'm kind of asking. We talked about putting it back into the loan, but they can also hold on to the money and use it for the next year, right? So with that being said, I'm thinking in my mind it should be put in some type of account where they can grow, they can earn money, interest, and that wouldn't be a regular savings account. That would be something that's a little bit different than that.
Yes,
right?
because if you put it in a regular savings account,
Right.
you probably
It's
earn
outta here.
about 10 cents the year.
Yeah.
The year, not a month, the year.
Yeah.
So you always want to make sure that you find the investment that is going to give you a nice return.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be a CD, because right now they have CDs for some really good rates. So
That's a good
yeah,
idea.
so if you put it into a CD, maybe you can put it in there for a little bit, earn some money
Mm-hmm.
off of it. It may not be a lot, but it'll be more than that 0.001% that you
Right.
get in the savings.
Right.
That's real. That's real life.
Yeah.
And you can put $10,000 inside of a savings account, and you'll get not even $100 at the end of the year for how much interest you earn. So you want to make sure that you're looking to, if you are going to take that money and allocate it into another account, you do want to make sure that you are gaining and earning interest off of it, so that at least you can make some money off of the money.
Okay.
I know that's right.
One of the other tips you had was overcome fear of success and failure. Address the fear of success and fear of failure that often influence financial decisions. Develop strategies to navigate these fears and take empowered actions.
We just actually talked about that.
Yeah.
The ticket. So the person who was paying for their family in Nigeria. So that is a ticket. So you have money, and a lot of people don't want money because they know that now other people will rely on them. They're asking them, hey, can I borrow $500? Hey, it's called the black tax. I have a mentor who talks all about it. It's called the black tax. And if you now have this money, are more and more people going to be coming after you?
Right.
There was a man who won the lottery, and he wore a mask so his family wouldn't know that he won the lottery. Like, he's like, I'm broke. I don't have no money. Because you'll get asked if people know that you are financially stable. Now, on the flip side, if you don't have money and you now have that fear of success, or you have that fear, it'll stop you from doing a lot of things that you want to do and achieving a lot of the goals that you have for yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to have a healthy balance in knowing that you can say no. No is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
Like, no. You can tell somebody, if somebody say, can I borrow? You cannot. My father says if anybody calls him and they start this conversation off with "can I," he hangs up on them.
Dang.
Click.
Can I mow your lawn? I don't know. Maybe.
But he says a lot of times it's family, and when they start "can I," he just hangs up because it's just easier to hang up and. I'll call you back in 2 weeks. And see, I think Steve Harvey made a joke about that. It was like, somebody call you, let them leave a message. They got an emergency, call them back in 2 weeks to see if they still have that emergency.
Yeah, give them time to figure it out.
And a lot of times people will come to you, especially if they know that you have the funds.
Right.
They'll come to you before even trying to figure it out. And now you become a crutch.
Yep.
And you don't want to become a crutch because now you start to resent the money that you've earned. I'm not about to resent my money.
good. I
So
know that's
no
right.
is a complete sentence
Fond of
when it
mine,
comes
too.
to mine.
But isn't it? Don't you think
No,
it's
that's
harder?
right.
Well, I don't know about. I can't speak for other races, but I feel like with us, if we came up with people when, like you see these pro athletes, they grew up in these really hard financial circumstances, and then all of a sudden they're millionaires, and you have everybody in the neighborhood that was down with you and rocking with you, and here they are taking care of 20 people. Like, why do you think we feel a sense of obligation to take care of all these people once we make it? Or whatever making it is. But you know what I'm saying? Like, why do you think black? Because you never hear white people talking about, I'm taking care of the whole whoever. White athletes, you never hear these conversations.
I think it's because a lot of us don't have wealth. We're a $1.8 trillion. We have $1.8 trillion spending power within the black and brown community. So we only keep that for 6 hours. So once it's going, it's going. So that means that most of us don't have wealth. It's more of us who don't have wealth than that do have wealth.
Right.
So when you have that one person, that token person in our family or in our, in our community that does make it, now that person is now looked at as the hero. And so the hero has to save. And they have to save everyone else. But sometimes the hero also has to know that you have to go back into your bat cave and save yourself and heal yourself. Because people will continue to have handouts and they'll keep asking you for handouts. I tell my family all the time, if I ever win the lottery, which I don't even play, but if I ever was to win the lottery, you would just get a check in the mail. You wouldn't know. We all be like, oh yeah, we got a check. You wouldn't even know it was from me. Because I feel like even with family, when they know that you have it, they're usually the ones that ask you the most for it.
Right.
And it was like, you wasn't balling in the court with me, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a real thing. The black tax is real. And like that is real within our community.
And when I go back, I'm from Arkansas, right? So when I go back home,
Arkansas.
yeah. When I go back home, right? Well, you from Delaware? That's hilarious too.
Whoa.
Let's be clear. This ain't no, But anyway, I can speak on Delaware because I live here. You can't speak on Arkansas.
I've been there before. Arkansas.
Yeah. Where?
I don't even remember. So we have an RV. So when the pandemic hit, we did 27 states in 100 days.
Really?
So yeah, Arkansas was one of the
Wow.
yeah that we went through.
All right.
That's that money
27 states in
mindset.
100
Yeah.
days.
All right. That's
Wow.
27 states.
I want to rent an RV too. You own one or you rent it?
Own it.
You own
It's ours.
Can we rent it? My family?
I mean, yeah, shoot. Come on.
I want to go on that's one of my goals, to go from ocean to ocean. I want to drive across the country.
That's what we did. We started off here in Delaware and we ended in California.
That's what's up. So you went
Nice.
Interstate 40 through Arkansas to get down to Texas, and you jumped on three.
I think it was when we came
You jumped
back.
on 35 South to go to Dallas.
I think when we came back, we came down. So when we went up because I wanted to go to Montana. So since I was 13, I wanted to go to Lake Flathead in Montana.
Was that Highway 66? Did you take that
Yeah,
anywhere?
so we did do 66.
That is, yeah. Take you across.
Yes,
Yeah.
it takes you across. Yep.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
That's
What was I about to say about? Oh, so when I go home, right? Like parts of my family, I think they think that the Isabels who live here, like my sister, she's passed on, but they think we have money because the cost of living is way different down there, and it's just different. And so that whole thing about I don't think they necessarily need the money, but just because you here, and I believe he has it, I'm gonna ask him. Is that part of the black tax?
Yes, and that's why sometimes people don't go back home.
You live in a 4-bedroom house with a garage. Your mortgage is $400. You asking me for money? I'm traveling. Like,
maybe I should go to Arkansas.
If you got some money, you can make it work. You can make it work. Only reason I'm not gonna move back down there when I retire is because I love them all, but I gotta it'd be too much.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like I think they just ask you for money because they figure you got it. Oh, you flew down here and rented a car? I mean, like very easily impressed. Like he got some money. Like
yeah.
I saved to do this. I didn't just be like, all right, tomorrow we're gonna go. We're gonna fly down there and do this and pay $1,500 with ticket and then rent a car.
And that's sometimes because people, when you do go back home, they're still there. They're still in the daily life.
Yeah.
For you, it's like you're on vacation. Not
I am on
really.
vacation.
Yeah. Not really seeing that. When I'm home, I'm working. Like I go to work every single day, and I'm making this work. I have children. I have bills.
My bills are
stuff.
more than yours because I don't live down here.
Yep.
But they don't. Some people
They
don't
don't
hear that.
see that.
Two things. We have a question from the audience, but before I ask the question, I think last week I was sitting down paying bills, right? And I don't know what I was watching, but whatever I was watching, it prompted me to look at my mortgage and see how long it would take for me to pay off my mortgage if I was to, add an extra $300 a month to it, right? And I was amazed with the number of years that it would take for me to pay off my mortgage. And I think if people would actually sit down and really start running those numbers and do it, it would 8 years my mortgage would be paid off. Yep. If I was just to add an extra $300 a month to it.
Yep. And a lot
8
of people,
years.
Yeah, it's the principle. So when you make those additional payments, you don't want it to go to your interest because that's what it'll do.
Right.
So again, I worked in the bank front end. If you make extra payments, you have to really specify, I want this to go to the principal because if you do not, it will go to the interest.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they won't even let you know. They don't even tell you about the options
So
of.
think about when you buy a car. When you look at the car you go in on the lot, it says 13 on the window. But when you go sign, that bad boy say 26.
Yeah, it's something different.
It's something different.
Yeah,
it
for
usually
sure.
doubles. Same thing happens with your mortgage. So as long as you don't do a prepayment of it within usually sometimes like 2 years, 3 years, as long as you don't do a prepayment, then you don't get additional fees or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because how you gonna tell me like if I want to pay it all off, I shouldn't get penalized for paying it off,
Right.
but you do.
Right.
But that is something that you can by sitting down and looking at your statements and really starting to manage your money and seeing, hey, I actually spend $700 in things that I don't need. If I just take that amount and cut it in half, put that half onto my mortgage, now I am able to pay off a 30-year mortgage in under 10.
Yeah.
They don't tell you that.
Yep.
They don't teach you that. They don't show you
Absolutely.
that. And because we're not, like when we go in, I used to have people come in a lot of times in the bank and sign their mortgages. People don't even read it. Like you're not reading it. You're not sitting down like because it would take hours for us to sit in. So they're like, just skim over it for me. But as a bank employee, I'm not going to tell you everything because that goes against what we're supposed to do.
Right.
So if we know that, hey, after 3 years, if I go ahead and pay this off, I can do this by just putting the extra $300, $400, maybe $500. We would have so much more money in the end.
Yeah.
Because we're going from 30 years of $700 or $1,000 to now 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that a low key form of predatory lending by not giving people all of that information?
It's not low key. It is not low key.
It's loud and clear.
It is loud and clear. Yes,
Okay.
it's predatory lending.
Damn.
And that's why I don't work for the banks anymore.
Yeah. So they ain't no better than the check cashing place, that the payday loan place, huh?
No.
Sometimes, in some instances.
Some instances, but in the same aspect, like even with, at least with the payday loan people, they tell you you're going to pay 300% on the money up front. Like
That's
with
desperation. I've been there.
Been there, done that,
Still
got
signing.
a picture, right?
Desperation.
Yeah, so it's like they tell you up front, at least with the payday lending. With your mortgage and with the bank, that's the small fine print.
I was
at
about
the
to say the
bottom.
print that I
That's
definitely
page
can't read now.
32 out of 57.
My
Like
eyes ain't
everybody
even
who
built
not
like that
reading
You
all
wasn't
anymore.
reading it then, but you damn sure
I
can't read it on
darn
purpose.
sure can't read it now with readers.
Yeah, so this is definitely predatory lending. It happens, and it happens more within our community than any other community. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in other communities, but redlining, predatory lending, all of that is still in existence. No matter what they say, civil rights act.
Yeah.
No, it still happens.
I
every
got
single day.
$500 from a payday loan place, and I paid them back almost $1.2 million.
Over 3 years, huh?
It tore me down. When I got done, I was like, where'd I get all that money from? For $500, I paid $1.2 million. Don't do it, people.
Do not do it.
One of our questions from the audience, they want to know, would it be smart to start investing?
Yes. So
And what's some good investments? Because I'm looking for something.
One of the things that I always tell people when you invest in items and companies that you use on a daily basis. So everybody bathes every day. What kind of soap do you use? You use Dove, you use Dial. So don't just look at Dove as just a soap. Think of Dove as the company.
Investment.
When the pandemic hit, I invested in Kimberly
Clark.
Is that the one who makes the toilet paper and all of that? So I invested in toilet paper.
Okay.
So you have to think about what are the things that, and not just toilet paper, but the whole company, because they make toilet paper, they make wipes, they do all kinds of different things. They
Stuff
do
that we will need forever.
So you want to invest in things that you use on a daily basis. As someone, I'm not, and I'll say this, let me get closer. I'm not giving tax advice. I'm not giving investment advice. What I'm telling you is this is educational.
Yeah.
But for me and for my family, what we do is we invest in things that we use. My son has a PlayStation, so we're going to invest in Sony. We have like these are things that you have to look
Yeah.
in. He's 17, so I have a 17-year-old, and he uses my Robinhood, but he invests in his own stocks. He does his own trading because I want him to see how you can take $10, $20, $30, and yeah, you may only get $3 back, but you're getting $3 every single month because of compound interest. So we always want to make sure that when we're investing in any company, invest in things that, number one, you believe in, because you can be investing in some stuff and you be like, oh wait, they worshiping the devil, and
Right.
so wait a minute,
Right.
but you also want to make sure that you invest in things that you use,
That you're using.
because if you use it, there's what, 200, 300 million people here in the U.S. Like they'll also be using it too.
Yeah.
So you always want to make sure that you're investing in things that you believe in, but also invest in things that you use.
So you're saying don't invest in a Masterpiece cereal, because I don't see a lot of people eating those.
I
Did he say Masterpiece?
So
Master
I
P
would
got a
invest in
cereal.
Master P
So the Snoop
because-
Dogg, don't he? Snoop Dogg
Yeah,
got one
well,
too?
it's under Master P.
I cannot.
So Master P is a smart businessman.
He's a very smart
is.
man.
He is a very smart businessman. So I would not say not to invest in what he does, because sometimes people see the future. But he's also a brother, so why not invest into his stock, into his into him, because that is only helping with helping another
Keeping the wealth in our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
1.8 trillion. We got to keep it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Okay, all right. So the last couple of points you made was develop healthy money habits, envision your financial success, and make sure you have a supportive environment around you. And then the last one is taking action. So if people want to learn more about how to get on the right track and would like to work with you, what does that look like? How can they reach out to you? What would be the steps to be able to, learn healthy habits when dealing with their finances?
Okay, so we have a website, Rheal Urban. So it's RHEAL urban.com. So you can go on there. You can reach out to me there. I get that personally. But the steps, we have different ways. So you can we have in person. We also have online. We have workbooks. We have different resources. Because I understand everyone may not fit into one small category. So that's us. We have things available for every financial, whatever you have. I'm trying to think of the word that I was trying to think of. But we have something for everyone.
Yeah.
We have different resources. We have different tools. And I'm always available to be able to answer questions, to have these conversations and kind of like point you in the right direction. Even if you don't become a customer or a client, I'm always willing to give a little bit of advice. I'll talk to you for 15 minutes, but after the 15 minutes, I'm going to charge you.
Right. I know that's right.
But because a lot of the questions that I get asked do come from people who look like me and who I identify with, I always try to make sure that I give them at least a little bit just to speak with me, because sometimes I'm the only one that they're talking to. We don't have these financial conversations in our circles usually. It's usually my money is a secret. But we have to learn how to have these financial conversations.
Oh, a question came up.
Go ahead. What's your question?
A question came up, and it just reminded me, like with our relationship panel, it was one of our questions, but we didn't actually get a chance to answer it because we was running short on time. But couples, should couples have joint accounts? Should they have separate accounts? What is your take on that?
Whew. So...
Just thought I'd put that out there.
Since my spouse is in the room, we should have shared accounts. No, I'm just no. So I believe that you should have both. as a woman, I believe that you should always have a little bit of money onto the side for just in case. You never know what's going to happen. I was always taught and brought up, like, you don't go nowhere without any money. You always make sure you have a little something. So I still feel that same way.
That's the money that they put down in the bra.
In my purse, down in my purse.
Money smell like baby powder when they get
Pull out, it's wet. Ma'am, why is this money wet? You know, do you want it or
Just
not?
take the money. Still money. Still
bosoms
spend.
are hot.
100 degrees out here. Ask me why the money's wet. But I say both. I say you should have joint accounts, but I also feel as though you should have your separate accounts. Because, like I said, you never know, and you never want all money in one account. Together, not together, like single marriage. You should never have your money in one account. What if something happens? Like, we just saw banks just shut down, like in Silicon Valley, in New York. I can't say the name of the bank, but there's a bank who they just at 5 o'clock on a Friday just made people, they couldn't get their money out of the ATM. So let's say if you have all of your paycheck going into one account, and they say, well, after 5 o'clock on a Friday, you can't get your money back out until Monday. So what we doing? Like, how am I going to survive and how am I going to live? So I always tell people have multiple accounts, but also have a little bit of money stashed, like how our great-grandparents and grandparents used to do
Under
in
the
the
mattress.
Dig a hole in the backyard, whatever. Like Soul Food Cousin Pete, he had it. Uncle Pete, he had it in the TV. So always have your money in different places, because you never know what's going to happen, especially now. Like Cash, can I say it? Cash App. When they were taking people's money out of their accounts, like out of their Cash App accounts, or people were just missing money, or money was being transferred out of that account to another account. Like, and it wasn't them making the transfers.
Oh,
like,
my God.
people were able to get into their accounts. You always want to make sure that you protect yourself, especially in the day that we're living in with technology, the hacking, and everything like that. We're going to a digital currency. Our government is going to a digital currency. We want to make sure that we always protect ourselves. So if you're in a relationship, always have money off to the side. Even if they know about it, that's perfectly fine. But you should always have money that is together, but also have money that's separate.
Okay. All right. Thank you for answering that question.
Yeah, I have one. I don't know where we at on time, but I asked you this early, but I want to ask you this on the air. So, what is this? Why do you think African Americans, black folk, why do you think that we don't necessarily work with black financial advisors? Like, we'd rather go to someone white or Jewish or
because
why is the trust level so low?
So you have to think, this was something that was ingrained into us 1700s, like the having distrust of our people. That was something that's been ingrained in us. So we don't trust our people when it is giving information, especially about money. Like our money, we don't trust anybody, not even them. We don't trust anybody with our money. But because there has been a level of distrust put into our psyche, into our community, it's easier for us to believe that even though we know everything that has happened, we still feel like, oh, well, they know how to handle their money better, because we go back again to us being and having a $1.8 trillion spending power and it only being with us for 6 hours. So that is a full cycle. That's a full psyche. That is full, that's a full circle for you to see that the distrust that we have for each other doesn't just go from seeing each other on the street. It's deep. It's taught to us, and sometimes it's ingrained in us so deep that we don't even know. So we will trust the other color before we trust us, because this is something that has been ingrained into us.
Isn't that something?
Wow,
that's deep. Wow, Ashley. Obviously an hour couldn't cover everything, but I think this is really good information because, like you started off the show about the mindset and what we think, how we think, our manifesting and all of that. We talk about that all the time in regards in therapy, right? And mental health and all of that. changing your thoughts, your irrational beliefs and stuff that you have about money, speaking negative to yourself, I'm broke, because we'll say that in a minute. Oh, I'm broke. So this is all important information. So if you are in need of a mindset coach,
I'm here. And we're also having a 7-day challenge that starts November the 28th. So it's a new money, new mindset. So right for 2024, like we're coming up at the end of the year. We're coming here. So if you go to our page, it's under events, and all the information is there.
Okay. All right. Definitely. Yeah, so you have, there's a couple upcoming events you have going on, right? Operation No Cold Coat, Scarf, Hat, and Blanket Donation Drive?
Yes, so we're doing our first one will be on November the 17th, I believe it is, where we are doing a food donation drive and a dinner for the community that live in the village of Eastlake, which is in Wilmington. Okay. So we'll be doing a drive canned goods, non-perishables currently right now for that, and then we'll be feeding the residents. It's 70 families that live in this community that we'll be feeding. And then we're also doing coats and hats and scarves for them also.
Will this be in there in that little community center?
Yes.
It's right behind Head Start.
Yes. It's right there. Yep.
We use our parking lot without asking a lot.
Okay.
Just so you know, when we have events.
As long as they're not there, I'm pretty sure.
Because I go to the lady, they never answer the door when I'm ringing it. No one's ever in there. Like, how people pay their rent? No one is ever in there. All right, anyway.
But yeah, so that's where we'll be. That's the next.
So that's where they would donate the coat, scarf, and hat?
Yeah, so that's where they can donate everything. It's right there. There's a big bin that's sitting inside of the community center.
So you know where it is, right?
I know exactly where it is. It's right behind.
You can take some stuff for me?
Yeah, I can. Definitely.
Off of Governor Prince. So, yeah.
So when are you feeding the homeless? I mean, when you feeding the village, I'm sorry, the residents. I'm sorry, Lord.
We do that too.
I wasn't trying to be funny. I just said, I don't know why I said that.
No, we do that also. We do 14 meals a week that we feed those in need. We do hot meals.
Wow, that's good.
So we make sure that we try to give out hot meals. Yeah. But this will be on that Tuesday. So it's I keep getting my days mixed up. It's on that Friday. So whatever that Friday day is, I believe it's the 17th.
So the 17th
Monday
is a Monday.
17th.
So it's going to be the 14th, that Friday. Is it the Friday before that?
Yeah.
That's when you're going to actually, what are you doing that Friday?
Friday, we'll pass out the boxes.
The boxes.
But we're also going to be cooking.
Oh, okay.
So they're getting meals. We have turkeys that are donated. We have all kind of stuff.
Okay.
Nice.
That is nice.
A lot of businesses, like catering businesses, that are going to donate food so that we can feed the 70 families that live there.
We should take our children and go over there and let them volunteer.
That's something that you should do for your children. You should make them volunteer, make them go out, serve the less fortunate and the homeless. Because that teaches them something. That shows them something. It teaches them about gratitude.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you don't have to have any of this.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's you trying to get to heaven.
Yeah, man. Y'all, you're doing great. I mean, thank you for doing what you're doing. Seriously, thank you for doing what you're doing. And I also know that, if you have a business and company or whatever, reach out to her, because I know we were waiting for our person to get back from her tour. As I said, she went to Africa and Jamaica and all of that. So now she's back, and hopefully we could sit down and really kind of go over everything that you sent for the Center for Child Development.
Of course.
But if you have a business and all of that, don't think this is just an individual thing. If you have businesses, this is even a better reason to reach out to Rheal Urban, because they're doing some really dope things, and it's important, and we want to make sure that we educate our youth. That's the really cool part. The fact that 7 years old.
Yeah.
Some adults, I ain't even gonna lie, sometimes it's just they kind of stuck in their ways, right? But the fact that you are able to reach out to children and teach them, things that maybe a lot of us has missed, that's pretty dope to me. So thank you again.
Yeah, that is dope.
Thank you for being on here today. Thank you for saying yes to Rebirth Live.
And thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
I just threw her on the panel.
Here go your chair.
Absolutely,
go sit
right?
Have a seat.
Absolutely. So make sure you reach out to Rheal Urban and get your finances in order. All right, guys. So before we leave tonight, we have an event coming up this Saturday Black Girls Heal. Reserve your spot. This is going to be Black Girls Heal Conference 2023. Girls can do anything. It will be at 31 West 31st Street in Wilmington, Delaware. So make sure that you check them out at iamthevillage.org and reserve your spot. They have some phenomenal speakers that are going to be there. And if you have young girls that can benefit from this, definitely take them. I believe it's free for the girls. So make sure that you log on, get more of the information. It's from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and the doors open at 8:30 a.m. Girls can do anything. Black Girls Heal. iamthevillage.org is where you can get your ticket. Okay, anything else from you?
No, thank you. That was very informative.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Shout out to Safansi. I missed you at Rebirth Live. Thank you, Sherry, for tuning in. Shout out to you, Jim Marshall, Thomas Waters. Thank you for tuning in. All right, guys, you have a great night, and I will see you next Monday. Be blessed.